Hey there. If you're a manager and you feel like your team is just drowning in repetitive, tedious tasks, then you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something called robotic process automation, or RPA. Think of it as a way to supercharge your team's productivity and, maybe more importantly, free them up to do the work they actually enjoy.
First up, let's talk about a problem I'm sure every single person in a leadership role knows all too well. It's what we're calling the modern manager's dilemma. You know that feeling, right? You're constantly caught between bigger demands and a team that's already stretched to its absolute limit. So let me ask you, does this sound familiar? Your team is totally swamped with work, they're bogged down by tasks that are the same, day in and day out, and everyone's feeling that constant pressure of looming deadlines. This is an incredibly common story. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. And look, these are not just little annoyances. They lead to some very real, very serious consequences. When you have your best people stuck doing mind-numbing, repetitive work, you're going to see missed deadlines, you're going to see morale just plummet, and ultimately, you end up with a team that feels pretty dissatisfied and, frankly, undervalued. This is the heart of the dilemma we're going to tackle today. But what if there was another way to do things? Let's stop talking about the problem and start talking about the solution. It's time to think about adding a new kind of member to your team, a digital one.
So, what in the world is RPA? Well, to put it simply, it's really smart software that basically copies the way a person uses a computer to get routine stuff done. Just imagine taking all of those tedious, rule-based jobs like data entry or filling out forms and handing them over to super efficient software robots, or what we call bots.
And this is where you see the perfect split of duties. Now, this is so important. RPA is not about replacing your people. It's about empowering them. Your new digital workforce handles all that repetitive, boring stuff. That frees up your human team to focus on what they're amazing at: creative thinking, big picture strategy, and solving complex problems. It's really about letting the bots do the boring work so your team can do the brilliant work. And you know what the best part is? Getting RPA up and running doesn't mean you have to do some massive, disruptive IT project. The software works right on top of the applications you already use, your CRM, your ERP system, you name it. It just mimics human actions, like clicking and typing, which makes it incredibly flexible and easy to integrate. So we get what it is, and we get how it works. Now for the really important part. How does this digital workforce actually make your business better and help you hit your targets? I mean, just look at the impact you can have right across the entire organization. In HR, for instance, bots can take over all that tedious onboarding paperwork. In finance, they can automate data reconciliation, which is a classic time killer. Can you imagine generating sales orders and invoices automatically? Every single one of these examples represents hours of human effort saved every single day. Now, beyond just being more efficient, there's another huge benefit that every manager has to think about: risk. RPA is an incredibly powerful tool for lowering that risk. Let me show you how. First off, bots pretty much eliminate human error. They don't get tired, they don't get distracted, they just follow the rules perfectly every single time. This, of course, leads directly to better compliance, since you know processes are being followed to the letter. And finally, scalability. You can handle huge spikes in your workload without the risk that comes from rushing or trying to train new people on the fly. All right, now we're getting to the bottom line, because for any new solution, you know your management team is going to ask one question above all else: what is the return on our investment? Let this number sink in for a second. 200%. According to a study from the London School of Economics, the typical return on investment for RPA is 200%. And get this, that ROI is often achieved within the very first year. This timeline really puts that speed into perspective. A big traditional IT project might take 3 years to deliver that same 200% ROI. With RPA, you could be implemented in as little as 3 months and see that full return within the first year. That speed is an absolute game changer. And hey, this isn't just a one-off finding. The big industry analysts totally back this up. Gartner's chief of research found that an incredible 96% of clients are getting real, tangible value from their RPA. So the point is, this isn't just hype, it's a proven, tested reality. So how do you get that kind of amazing ROI? Well, you start smart. The best targets are that low-hanging fruit, those processes that are super repetitive, that are strictly based on rules, and are prone to human error. That's where you're going to see the biggest and the fastest impact, right out of the gate. So we've covered the what, the how, and the why of RPA. Now let's bring this all back to you and your team. The potential is definitely there, but that first step is all about spotting the opportunity in your own day-to-day operations.
I'm going to leave you with one final thought to chew on. Just take a minute and think about your team's daily work. If you could automate just one thing, what is the single most repetitive, soul-crushing task you would get rid of first? Answering that question, well, that's your first step toward building a team that's more productive, more satisfied, and way more effective.